So let's start on our backs. So knees bent, feet can be away from the bum or close to the bum. Head facing straight up. And let's bring our hands to our bellies. And just start with some turning inward. Feel the breath making the belly expand. Thinking about all directions. Try to make sure that your shoulder blades are wide. Shoulders are away from the ears. Spine is straight and long. And just feel the mat beneath you. Feel your breath gently moving your hands up and down. And start to, this is weird, I'm gonna say make a list in your mind. Usually we wanna stop making our lists during yoga, but start making a list of the things that you're grateful for. So maybe you've already thought about this in these past couple days. But maybe you missed some of the obvious ones. Like, I am super grateful for this body that allows my soul to walk this earth. No matter what my body looks like or feels like, it is the house of the soul, and I am therefore grateful. I am grateful for my mat, this area where I can be exactly who I am in this moment. I can be exactly not flexible and not strong in all the ways that I'm not, and yet it's okay. I am grateful for the roof that is above me right now and the walls that surround me and the heat that I feel because it is mighty cold outside. I'm grateful for the clothes that I'm wearing, even though some of mine have holes, that they help me in my yoga practice. I'm grateful for the people in my life that help me stay on the path that I want to be on. I will stop talking so you can think about a few of the things that you are grateful for that maybe if you've thought about this, you missed. As you do that, continue to deepen your breath. Turning inward. Noticing your emotional state, your physical state, your mental state. And as you continue to make the list for what you're grateful for, maybe just gently rock the knees side to side. Hands can stay on the belly. You can feel the twist that the mid-body gets, especially when the feet are a little bit more together. And if you want to pause somewhere and take a breath, feel free to do that. Continue to make the list of the things that you are grateful for. And then bring the knees back to center. Maybe scoot the feet a little bit closer to the body. Bring the hands next to the hips, palms down. Make sure your spine is long. And then start to pelvic tuck and tilt. So that means press the low back onto the mat without lifting the hips. And then let the small of the back return to its normal state, and you can even arch the back a little bit. So you're pulling the back side of the hips, the parts that's on your mat, towards your shoulders. And you might feel your shoulders kind of slide up and down on the mat. It might just be like moving inside your skin, or it might actually be shifting on the mat, and both of those are okay. And you can link it to the breath if you want to. So imagine this being cow. So cow would be where you have a really big arch in your back. I can even slide my hands underneath my back. So that would be the inhale if you want to link it that way. And then pressing the whole back onto the mat is the exhale. Belly button comes in towards the spine. And if your breath is too quick, then you don't have to link it to the breath. That's just a choice. Maybe two more. Really feel your core activate as you press the back onto the mat. And then come back to your neutral spine. So that's just a slight arch in the low back. And then reach the arms up towards the sky, palms facing each other. Lift the shoulders off the mat. So reach through the fingertips. And then let the hands come farther away as you let the shoulders relax down on the mat. Maybe you can find more contact than you had before. On the inhale again, reach up. And the exhale, feel the shoulders widen on the mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. And then let the right arm come across the chest, and the left arm takes the upper arm just above the elbow and helps it stretch. So there are lots of places you might feel this. I feel it across my shoulder. Take a few breaths here. And then again, reach both arms up. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, let the shoulders drop. Try to keep those shoulders on the ground. The left shoulder will lift a little bit as you bring the left arm across the chest. Right arm helps get into that stretch. Try to keep the shoulder away from the ear as much as possible. So left arm is across the chest. Right arm is on the left. Right hand is on the left upper arm, helping it stretch. One more breath. And then reach both arms up again, lift the shoulders off the mat. Exhale, bring the shoulders back down to the mat, and then take the opposite elbows in the hands and rock the elbows side to side. So you can choose how far you go. So if you want to do a little twist in the upper body so that the elbow that is going towards the mat actually touches, you can do that, lifting one of the shoulders off the mat. Or you can keep the shoulders more grounded to the mat and go a little less far. Just keep the hips from moving. So we don't want to move all the way down into the hips. So if you're doing a little bit of a twist, just the upper body. You can move as slow or as quick as you want. And then option here, maybe taking the feet a little bit wider than the hips. You can rock the knees opposite of the elbows. So now we're getting into the hips. And when I say take opposite elbows, I'm finding today, because I'm a little more tight than normal, that my hands aren't actually staying on my elbows. They're like, they have the other forearm, and that's okay. So whatever works for your body. But hopefully you feel a good stretch across the back, across the shoulder. And of course, the neck, the shoulder, and the back, they're all connected. So if we loosen up the shoulders and the neck, sometimes it can help the back. And then if you want to add the head follows the knees. About 2 more to each side. And then when you're ready, come back to center. Let your arms come back down next to your body and hands place on the belly. Feet walk in so that heels are in line with the sits bones. So this is where we began, just coming back to the breath. Coming back to our gratefulness list. Maybe you've thought of something else, so add it to your list. When you feel ready, let's take the knees into the chest and try to pull them kind of tight into the chest, whatever that means for your body. And maybe the knees go wide and then rock side to side. Elbows can help push you back up if you go too far. And just feel where you get a massage in the back. So the tighter your knees are into the chest, the further up your back that little massage will be. And then eventually come all the way over to one side. Push yourself up to a seated position. Crossing the legs. When you get there, just take some shoulder rolls. One direction. And then the other. Pause. And then drop the chin down to the chest. Make sure you leave the rest of your spine long. And just let one ear come to one shoulder. Chin back down to chest. Other ear to other shoulder. Chin back to down to chest. Go at your own speed. So it can be much slower than what I just said. Probably shouldn't be too much faster unless you're like super loose in the neck area. And if you find a spot that has tension, feel free to take a breath there. And then keep moving. Or 2 breaths or 3 breaths, whatever that tension needs to lighten up a little bit. Sometimes I try to be grateful for my tension because it not only reminds me that I'm human, but it also reminds me that I have things to worry about. And that's actually like a blessing, right? If I didn't have anything to worry about, I should say people, so someone to worry about. Most of my worry is about people. And so if I didn't have people to worry about, that would mean I don't have deep relationships. And so even though I want my yoga to help me release that worry and that tension, we can be grateful for it. When you're ready, bring the head back to center. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale over to the right. Inhale when you're ready, come back to center. Exhale to the left. And then again, make it your own. If you want to stay for a breath on each side, feel free to do that. Get deeper into the stretch. If you need more motion, feel free to do that too. And then if you want, you can come forward wherever your body stops you. Make sure you drop the head, release the neck. You can shake your head no, nod it yes. Try to let all that tension go. Deep breaths. And then walk the hands back up to the body. Let's take the legs over to one side and come up to hands and knees. So we're gonna have some options here after we do some cat-cows. So I'll walk you guys through those options in a bit. But go ahead and take some cat-cows. And then come back to neutral table. So I'm gonna turn towards you. So the option, we're gonna thread the needle. So the options here are, lately, I've been noticing that I love taking a leg out for thread the needle. That's because it feels like it gives me a lot of extra space. But I do also find that it's not as good of a stretch across the mid-back. So if you're really looking for a stretch across the mid-back, you might want to keep the knee in. So I'm going to demonstrate with the leg out just because space is what I need right now. But you can keep the knee down if you want. So left leg out, and then right arm would extend up. So everyone do the right arm, whether your left leg is out or not. And then exhale to bring the shoulder down, side of the head down. You can use the left arm to push into the mat to increase the twist. And then left arm can go wherever you want it to go. It can go up towards the sky, it can go overhead, palm down on the mat, or it can go behind the back. Deep breaths. One more breath here. There's a train coming. Bring the left hand back in front of the face, plant the hand, and then press back up. If you have the leg out, bring that leg back in, and then maybe wag the tail or do some C curves. Or you can do some cat-cows, whatever little motion you want in between the sides. And then if you want that extra little space or you like the leg out too, go ahead and extend the right leg out. Heel is in line with the knee, just like we do for gate pose. Toes point forward. And then left arm, right leg, left arm extends high, and then exhale to thread. And then again, the hand that's in front of the face can go wherever it wants. It can even stay in front of the face for a little extra stability and to help twist. Deep breaths here. And then bring that right hand back in front of the face, plant it, push into it, plant the left hand. If the right leg was out, bring it back in, and a couple more little wiggles, whatever you want. It could be cat-cow, it could be C curves. It could be wagging the tail. And then we're going to do a few little hip things. So we're going to be inventive with this. So take your right leg and we're going to circle the knee. You can start small, but then eventually maybe you can grow the circle so the leg really lifts. Sometimes I feel like I'm a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. And then reverse the circles. So once you reverse and you've done a couple big circles, start to make the circles smaller and smaller and smaller. And then release the right leg down. I'm gonna turn around so you can see me. Left leg, small circles. Breathing. Bigger and bigger. I notice that when I'm doing my left leg, my right arm kind of bends as needed. And then reverse the direction. And then they'll get smaller and smaller and smaller. And relax. Oh my gosh, you guys, my hips are so tired. Did you guys feel that in your hips? Okay, good. I see some of you nodding. So it's really good for hip mobility, but it's really, have you guys ever done clamshells, like these puppies? It works that same spot in your hip, so it's really good for hip strengthening. Okay, so we're gonna take a couple breaths, because my little pregnant lung capacity is shrinking day by day. Let's sit back into a child's pose. Take a couple of soothing, deep breaths. Maybe come back to what you are grateful for. Beautiful. Using props as needed. I love it. If your breath sped up like mine did, try to slow it back down. And then come back up to table, realign everything so that hands are beneath shoulders, knees are beneath hips. And we're gonna do one more strengthening thing, spinal balance. I'm not gonna demo it all, but we'll start with our right leg extending out behind you. And then option to have left arm. And then also option to flow it. So on the exhale, you bring the knee in and the chin in. And on the inhale, you would extend out, or you can just hold. So if you're just holding, it's not just holding, right? It's activating the core. It's strengthening that core. It's balancing. If you're flowing, as you bring the knee towards the forehead, tucked under the belly, bring the belly button up towards the spine, round the back. 2 more breaths, whatever your choice is. And then release right knee, possibly left hand down to the mat. Again, wiggles. And reminder that you can always come to fists if wrists are starting to bother. We'll get off our wrists right after this next side. And then left side. When you're ready, left leg extends behind, possibly right arm. And then if you're holding, make sure you're thinking about bringing the belly button up towards the spine. If you're flowing, really activate that as you pull in. And as you reach out, try not to arch the back. So we don't want to do a cow. We want to have a neutral spine. 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, release and come back into a child's pose, slowing the breath again. If it's sped up, option here in child's pose to take one arm and slip it under the other armpit as much as you can. So we're kind of doing another thread the needle. So you don't have to go as far as you would for thread the needle. But your head will probably tilt to the side. The shoulder will probably come down to the mat. And then breathe into the back body. See if you can get a stretch between the shoulder blades. And then when you're ready, inhale, come back up, extend that arm, bring the other arm underneath the armpit and twist just enough. And once again, take the breath into the upper back as much as possible. So on the inhale, you feel the stretch intensify. And on the exhale, maybe you feel a little bit of let go. Two more breaths. And then if you want a down dog today, now is your chance. If you don't, then just stay in child's pose for a couple of breaths. If you want that down dog, reach those arms out, plant them, come up through table, tuck the toes, and come in to your down dog. You can pedal the feet. If you're in child's pose, you can always walk the hands over to one side and then over to the other when you feel ready. If you're in down dog, I would suggest pedaling the feet and then eventually coming into a still pose. If you're in child's pose and you're taking your arms to one side and then the other, make sure you go to the second side. Down dog, people, bring the knees gently back down to the mat. Child's pose, people, come up to table. Make sure the hands are back in the center if you're gonna do that. Let's sit off to one side, bring the feet around. Center the hips in the middle of the mat. And gently and slowly roll down. If you want a little extra ab work, you can do boat. If you don't want a little extra ab work, go ahead and just roll yourself down. Once you get there, let's put the legs up an imaginary wall. So you can rest hands on legs just for a little extra support, to like remind them, hey, you're supported, even though we don't have a wall actually there. You can let your feet, you can't really see my feet, you can let your feet relax so you don't have to like flex them. You can let the knees relax so there's like a little bend in the knees, especially if you have tight hamstrings. And then eventually maybe your hands will come down. And just feel what it feels like to have the feet, the legs above the heart. Little inversion here. If you are going to do a meditation practice, I highly suggest getting a free app. There are some really awesome apps that have like a 10-day trial that you have to pay for after the 10 days, but at least do the 10 days. And I really like, if I know I'm going to have a more relaxed meditation instead of sitting, I like to put my legs up the wall and I like to put a little blanket under my hips. So my hips are just slightly higher than the rest of my back. Two more deep breaths, bringing ourselves back inward. And then let the left leg float down to the mat. Right leg crosses into figure 4. Pause there just for a moment. Press your right leg away from you with your right hand. So actively taking that knee away from the body, however much that leg will allow you to externally rotate. And then take that pressure away, let the knee come back to its resting place. Pause for another moment. And then maybe this is where you'll stay. Maybe the left leg will lift into the air and you can take something, sides of the leg, yoga pants, maybe reach around the back of the leg. And then you guys are all experienced, so you know your options here. Don't forget that you can roll out the left ankle, whatever option you take. And then I'm going to be quiet while we breathe in this pose. And hopefully maybe your mind, instead of wandering, will make more of a gratitude list. If the left leg is up in the air, let it float back down towards the mat. Keep the right leg crossed. Right arm goes out to a T, and then let the knees and legs rock over to the left. Left hand can do whatever it wants. It can be on your belly to feel the breath. It can come and help the right knee descend towards the earth, if you want that, or right knee can stay up, pointing up towards the sky. Left hand can go out to a T, lots of options here for the left hand. Couple more breaths, couple more gratitude entries. Bring the legs back to center. Uncross the right leg. Realign the spine. Maybe some knee rocks. And then when you're ready, cross that left leg. Take the left hand, press the left thigh, allowing the external rotation of the hip to increase whatever amount your body is going to allow. And then release that, pause here for a moment. And then right leg maybe lifts into the sky. Again, you can rotate that right ankle, whether the right leg is extended or bent. If the right leg is on the ground, then you can just enjoy the stretch that you're feeling. Let the right leg float back down towards the mat. Left arm out to a T. Maybe take the right arm where you had it last time. So if it was on the belly, put it on the belly. If it was at a T, put it at a T. And then let the legs float down to the right. Deep breaths in this twist. Preparing the body and the mind for final relaxation. Practicing for the ultimate letting go. Bring the legs back to center. Uncross the left leg. Take any little motions that you need before coming into Shavasana. But go ahead and make your way to Shavasana as soon as you can to get the full time in. Maybe a body scan all the way from the top of your head through things like your forehead and the space between your eyebrows, your jaw, your neck. Try to release those shoulders and upper back muscles that like to hold on. Arms, mid-back, low back, hips, and then legs. Maybe list one or two more things with a couple of deep breaths that you are grateful for. Begin to awaken the body, bringing yourself back into your space, noticing the sounds around you, noticing the air, any smells, coming back to being in your body and also in the space around you. Gently and slowly start moving the body. Working your way slowly back to a seated position. Taking a couple breaths when you get there, just reminding yourself that we really do have almost an endless list of things to be grateful for. So the more we can remember those things, I think the more peaceful and content we will be. Bring our hands to heart center. Take another deep breath. The light within me sees and honors the light within each of you. Namaste.